Texas Tech. 3, 2, 1. I'm tingling with excitement. I do want to get to, I guess, the Guyton and Hackett aspect of the question that was actually asked, but your tease was so delicious as well. It's not waste a whole lot of time on what's incoming to the LBK, Chris. All right, cause for concern for guys like that to be elsewhere, visiting major programs, major games, and then what are we talking about back home?
Yeah, I think typically Texas Tech, you're not forthcoming, or you're not okay with your commitments visiting elsewhere. These are unique circumstances because these are top players, right? And I think really, if we want to just cut to the chase here, I think you're just daring other people to meet the dollar figure. Like, okay, I mean,
and remind me though, man, because I'm wondering, well, why would they not? But the dynamics on those rosters, or some of them, I think you've described 4, in a way could kind of hamstring you with what you're willing to allocate to high school level prospects. Am I describing that close to right?
Yeah. We've used Georgia as an example. I think in any of these really good teams, like right now, that are like your playoff contenders, and maybe Tech is, maybe Tech is not. I'm not real sure yet. But some of these blue bloods, or these teams with like playoffs on the mind, they've got so many upperclassmen that, or they've recruited so well, in the last couple of years. Texas is a good example. They can't justify paying a new kid like lots of dollars when they've got to take care of who's there, who they already know for a year or two is going to be really good. And Texas Tech saw this as an opportunity to go get some select blue chips. Again, there's a limit to this. You're not doing this with an entire recruiting class. You're just not. You are you're being very selective with what position that they play, and your evaluations, and it's a small handful. So as far as those folks visiting other places, I think that, if you lose them for more than what you're offering, I think you would go, appreciate it, and you'll go do this to the second or third best guy that you can find at this, or you'll save it for the portal. Having said that, I think that, like, there's an offensive lineman from Oklahoma that is close to Hackett that is supposed to be here this weekend. Some people will tell you he's going to commit. He's a big time player. Some people will tell you he's going to commit to Texas Tech. Others are like, you may not even need him if you get another guy. Maybe you'll take both. But the other guy maybe is a kid that just decommitted from University of Arkansas, to which I think he has the same agent or agency as Felix Ojo does. And I think that you have made it clear to him, we'll take care of you. So he's now an option. Do you have room for both? But as it was put to me, more good offensive linemen on the way to Lubbock, literally. Now, do they stay here? Do they commit here? But this is where you're trying to make your money. Again, this is the I will movement.
That's where the money is made, all levels. So good place to try to pile it up.
Yep. So yeah, I can't really, like, do I want LaDainian Guyton here? I mean, I think everybody would say, yeah, you do. But if you don't get him, I think that you'll figure something else out, and you have the means to go do it. It's because, I mean, I'll just use Blanche's words. Like, I'm going to go pluck a blue chip. Like, you better be paying him what he's worth, or I will take him. I mean, this was a direct quote. I mean, remember that story back in when he was at the conference there in was it Nashville or somewhere on the East Coast or whatever it was, and it was a personnel symposium or whatever it was. Symposium is always a much fancier, better word than conference, I've always thought, but whatever. But yeah, so I wouldn't just stress too much about that. And but see, you're getting some benefit of the doubt from these agencies. things like that, because they know you're trying to take care of the young people. So again, it's all a gamble. We'll see if it pays off.
Texas Tech love the kids. That's why we do it. Hayden,
Ray, my man Andre,
That's
R.I.P.
right.
dog, R.I.P. man.
That's right. One of several college basketball slam dunk Red Raider champions. Shout out to the boy Lance Hughes as well. Hayden, Peyton, and Kyle asking about a couple of names and wondering if there's anything to share about either Kavion Bryant, Jalen Brewster.
Yeah, Bryant, again, he's the quarterback, and I think that you are basically daring Texas to meet the dollar figure.
Are those the two finalists as we sit here?
That's what I think. I mean, Florida State is where he was at recently. We'll see. And I think, again, Brewster's the same. He's the interior D lineman from Cedar Hill, I believe. And, again, I think you're – so there's a rub here. Someone explain to people the rub that we're seeing. The more you go in with these high-end, high-dollar high school kids, and we've established offensive tackle, defensive end, quarterback, maybe big-time defensive tackle, okay? I don't know if we've seen an example of anywhere else. If you some of the monies that you may be allocating this way may be like less money that you can allocate in the portal come next January. So, we'll see. I also think Texas Tech feels pretty strongly that as they project this out, that the rules will change in 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years from now, whenever you have to pay that credit card bill. You follow me?
Yeah.
Because you're out. Some of these are 27 kids, so they don't even get tacked onto your rev share until July 1st of 2027 is when they would officially start, unless they change the way the academic year is. So, or unless they move that back up to January anyway. But you see what I'm saying? That's so far off in the distance. But you can offer contracts, and it's binding, I think. So we'll see kind of how it goes. But this is what you're doing, and you're looking at blue bloods going, we don't think you'll pay what we're paying, and we're going to get a 3-year deal, and maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. But again, it's a proof of concept theory that they're trying to operate through right now.
Thank you for that question. Alan and Cameron asking about Chapman Lewis's timeline. Are we talking last month, last few games?
Mid-October. I think mid-October is what I would tell you.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you'll be smart with maybe you do it with 5 games to go and you play him in 4. Maybe I don't know. And then how does he feeling? But I mean, he's been out there. He's moving around. He's not been in uniform. But I mean, one of the open practice periods this would have been in, I guess, mid-August. He was out there in uniform and doing some stuff off to the side. But I mean, I was like, is he? And now he's just rehabbing. So,
is anything you get from him impactful? Just bonus, Chris? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
It's
see,
gonna be so late in the year, man, and he's a talented guy,
and that's fair. I mean, I think that is very fair and all that. He's a heat-seeking missile. He's like Deshaun Johnson. He's a phenomenal open field tackler and a ball hawk and all the things. He just finds his way around the ball. And you're right. I mean, you could be throwing him in there. What I like about it, though, is if you start having to play this game at Star where Brendan Jordan has to go play that, I'd like Chapman Lewis in there ahead of Malika Skera and Peyton Morgan and those red shirts. I'd like an experienced Chapman Lewis in there and all that. So anyway, yeah. I'll take all the options I can get. But that's there's some domino effect there that it just gives you more position flex and more options. So, but the rust component is certainly a real one. But if you're playing against like what we think may be like a bad UCF team and some of those, it would be good to knock some of that rust off.
Yeah, and you make a good point too about how quickly you can get into guys that are really green behind the ears. And it's not like you would have to have him, knock on wood, come in and even be the front line or lead the effort guy with obviously
Right.
Jordan and hopefully Wisniewski still solidly in place for that point in time. But just think, I'm almost, I guess, kind of cautioning myself, take it easy, let him work his way back, because I want him back so bad. He's one of my favorites we got to know last year, and obviously hate the timeline he's had to endure, but we do expect him to be back. So we'll be curious to see maybe mid-October what we get out of that. Trey says, my 2.5-year-old currently obsessed with the Going Band, the fight song, and the horse music. What's your favorite Red Raider song?
Like, is it the Going Band plays?
Yeah. Or Red Steagle. I'll allow it.
What's yours?
I go with I love the horse.
Yeah, no, that is typically the one that or really the only one that I hear, because I'm doing the thing and it's just kind of going on, and I'm talking to my guys upstairs, and I'm like, but I do whenever the entrance. So I guess I'll copy your answer. I'll look on your paper and go, okay, Cowan circled in C. He's circled in C. So yeah. I'm going to circle in C. I was always taught that multiple choice test growing up. Like if you just didn't know, just answer C. Odds are that it was going to.
Yeah, like 70%. And my name started with it, which also made it a wise choice. The horse. Yeah, you and me both. Simpatico. The horse music gets me going. You can't hate the fight song. You just can't. Hey, I was thinking that last week. Standing up on the camera deck, listening to a march across before the game, just feels good to be back home when you're hearing that kind of thing. And I also like the classic Sea Murder joint, the Mother Neighbors, I think. That's a good one as well. Don't sleep on it. Cody asking this question. Cody not thinking Will Hammond has looked great, which sort of struck me odd, but he says he wants to know, are we going to go shopping for a QB, or is he the guy?
He's the guy. Yeah, no doubt.
I don't feel like I've seen anything that disappointed me about him so far.
Yeah, you're not shopping for any QBs other than Kavion Bryant right now.
I wish Cody was here to expand on it, but what have you made of what you've seen from Hammond so far?
Well, he's been in some situations with second and third team guys, second and third team offensive line specifically, and I got to tell you, I like the 60-yard plus 20-mile-an-hour, run right up the middle. Will Hammond is the least of anybody's worries, I would think, and I do think you are, very fortunate to have somebody like Mitch Griffiths on your team. And it's funny, I actually said this on the broadcast the other day, because Baron Morton is, I'm gonna say, 6'2". Maybe closer to 6'1" than 6'3", but I'm going to go 6'2". Will Hammond is a hair shorter than Barron. Mitch Griffiths is probably 6 foot, maybe closer to 5'10" than 6 foot. And the reason I bring this up is because one of these doesn't look like the other, because like Lloyd Jones, who is your true freshman quarterback who hasn't been cleared yet. He had an ACL injury last year. He's like 6'4", and he looks like Shaquille O'Neal standing by these guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that is and Barron's a put together like adult, and the whole thing, and he's like I said, is 6'2", but I mean there's a big difference in what Lloyd Jones looks like. Chubb, as they call him, major upgrade in like just length and size there as you're looking at it. But yeah, because you're going to lose Barron after this year, and you're talking about Stephen Cannon coming in, who's committed. He's the Savannah, Georgia, with all these rest of these guys, with Damian Guyton's teammate, and then you're already on to Kavion Bryant. So I just figure like you're starting to string them out here. But Kavion Bryant is the one you're shopping for, if you want me to answer that question that way. But I don't envision, unless there's some sort of injury or something freaky that would happen that would necessitate, or somebody left, I don't anticipate quarterback being on the shopping list when the portal opens. It would be my guess.
Okay. Kevin is wondering how the Red Raiders make use of the new walkthrough room. Is it something that injured players can make use of? working on recognition and alignments and whatnot. How have they utilized it to your knowledge?
Yes, all of it. Team wise, individual wise, you can get it like, pre-practice, just like some look ats with scouts. I think you can. It's just fascinating what that technology will do, because it will just put it up in like a life-size view, and you can kind of on that turf up there. So I think they're using it in a variety of ways, individually, team-wise, special teams. It's mainly an offensive or defensive thing, but there's just nothing you can't do with it, and it's extremely unique. So they are using it a ton. And I think that's pretty. I've always, and I hope we don't never find out, but I've always wondered, like, if say a new coach got dropped in here, basketball or football, either way, it doesn't matter, and they saw all that was available to them technology wise, how different would they go? Okay, well, this is what I think we need to do. How different would it be than what the current people are using it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got different opinions on stuff. You've got different schedules and philosophies, and we want to practice in the afternoons. We want to practice in the morning. We want to really be physical. We don't want to be physical. We want to use the virtual reality stuff. I don't believe in that. You got to see it for real. I mean, there's just all different thoughts. And so that is always, but again, I hope Joey's here for the next 15, 20 years and we never find out. But I've always wondered that, like, somebody gets dropped in here and all these bells and whistles, and like, how would they use them all? Would it be different, and how different would it be than what they're doing now? I have no way of knowing, but
yeah, you got to wonder, like, what would be next after Spike walked in there and said, golly, just looking around. Then what would happen? Because I think he'd have to first start with a golly or something like that.
John Harris often talks about he was broadcasting back then when Spike was here, and he often talks about after the game on the plane that Spike would get up and walk up and down the aisles in the airplane on the way home, and it was a standard that you always had fried chicken on the way home and on the plane. I'm sure that wasn't messy at all, but and none of this chicken tender crap. It was like, bone in
on the bone,
straight up fried chicken. And he'd just walk up and down the aisle, and he had his couple or three players that he'd pick a piece of theirs out and pick a piece of theirs out, and he'd just kind of walk around and talk to everybody, ask them how they were feeling, and eat other people's fried chicken everywhere. He was like, it was hysterical. Yeah. And it's like they gave every player like 4 or 5 pieces, and every player would like kind of cover it up when coach would walk back, stick his hand in there in the box or bucket or whatever and grab one.
Daddy's got to eat first.
That's right. That's
right. All right. Let's see. One more before we get out of here. This one from Joseph, asking about next week's kick time, 10 a.m. local time. He's asking, is the Big 12 going to start making those on the geological fringes of the conference adjust to times that make sense to the bulk of the TV audience, or is this likely just a one-time or kind of random thing?
Well, it's catering to the 11 a.m. time zone Central Time, which is where the bulk of your conference is. So if you're in the Mountain or you're in the East Coast, I mean, like, yeah, I think it's all in the contracts that all these schools have signed, that's what that they know. I mean, and this is why, like, I say, like, I'm not gonna feel sorry for anybody, and like, that sucks, man. You got to get up really early, because like, think about like what you endured in Tucson last year.
Yeah.
What did you kick it off at 10 p.m. Central Time? Am I right? Wasn't it?
Is that right? That's still hard to believe, but I think you are right.
It was like either 9 or 10 Central. I just remember
At
like
least 9. It
was like 12:40 Central Time on my iPhone, and I'm like, damn, we're like only in the third quarter. I mean, like, what kind of freaking insanity is this? Like, what kind of sorcery have I been dropped into? And I didn't care at the time because Tech won, and it was a big game and the whole thing. And then the next day when you're at home, you're like, I feel like a truck hit me, because I mean, I've just stayed up for a full 24 to 28 hours straight. It felt like. And so that's just going to be part of this weird time zone thingy. But it's always going to be about the Central Time Zone fitting those windows, because that's when the bulk of the country will see this, is either 11 a.m. or at noon. And that's no offense to the West Coast or the mountain folks, but that's where the bulk of the people are, and that's where the bulk of the TV audience is. And so that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, in Arizona, we don't even know what time it is out there. Y'all are playing your own time game, so you're excluded pretty much from this conversation anyway. All right, Chris.
Yeah, daylight savings?
Yeah, which one do they go? Standard,
I don't know.
Saving at.
And it's part of what's part of the state you live in. I think part of the state it's one way, part of the state's the other. Yeah, we don't observe.
Oh, is that true also?
I think that's right.
I didn't know that part either.
Yep. I think part of the state or in certain cities, like they observe it, others don't. Like, how does this work? Like,
we're making it up as we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Lines of meridian. What are we talking about? Okay, Chris, thanks for the time as always, man. Regulation, OT, all of the above. Enjoy the weekend at the Jones. We'll catch up with you then and see how it works out. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. I hope everybody had a good week. Go hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Appreciate the mobsters for keeping the mailbag full. Keep them coming anytime, any subject. And, of course, enjoy the ball game if you get to get out there. We'll talk to you on the other side.